What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, in regards to Battlefield 6, I've heard so many different opinions about this game. Whether people think it's awful, whether they think it plays like Call of Duty, or even people saying that Battlefield 6 is one of their favorite Battlefield games ever made. I've heard everything across the board. But one thing that I've been hearing very consistently from everybody out there when it comes to this game is, I would say, a couple of things. The visibility paired with the auto spot system that is currently present within Battlefield 6. Now, for those who don't know, yes, there is an auto spot system. In every Battlefield game, obviously, as you guys probably know, unless you're new to the overall franchise, you can spot people, and when you spot them, they show up on the minimap. The only game where this wasn't present was Battlefield 5, where it just ended up being a ping over, a 3D tracking spot. But that was the only Battlefield game out there that really did that. Everything else always has the 3D spot on your minimap, and you can also see the diamond above the enemy player's head. But in Battlefield 6, you do not have to manually spot people. All you got to do is just simply aim at them. And I feel like they did this on purpose, obviously, because of the visibility of the overall game. They want the game to look a little bit more realistic, gritty, dark in certain areas. So it is kind of hard to spot enemies within the overall experience. But with the auto spot feature, you don't really got to worry about this. You scan across the area that you're looking at, you'll see an enemy with the diamond above their head, and you can go ahead and engage with them, and you don't got to worry about dying from dark corners all the time. Now, this right here has a good side and a bad side to it, but I think a lot of people are looking at this in a more negative light because of how overwhelming this feature actually is. The good side is that that's nice, right? Everybody is always complaining about visibility within all of these games that are releasing nowadays. Well, here you go. You have a feature where visibility isn't really too much of a problem. People can hide as much as they want, but if you are engaging with the map and you're actually being cautious about your environment, you should be able to spot them very easily, and you don't got to worry about, again, someone hiding in a dark corner, camping it out, waiting for you to walk past them, unless, of course, you don't check your corners, but it is what it is if that's what it comes down to. But the negative side is that the range is way too extended. The auto spot feature is stupidly overpowered, and it honestly makes a lot of the engagements pretty unfair. You can mark people pretty much almost across the map without even having to ping, which kind of turns into people just scanning everywhere in front of them before moving forward. I mean, people did that before, in all the previous Battlefield games, but they had to physically ping across the map to see if anybody was there. Now you don't. You just scan. If someone's hiding in a bush, if someone's in a dark, area in the back of the map, you'll spot them. It's just as simple as that. Again, the spot isn't for the whole overall team, it's just for you yourself, and I think potentially your squad. But it still makes gunfights feel a little bit wonky, and people are thinking to themselves, where am I getting shot from? I'm getting shot from everywhere. This makes absolutely no sense. But you have to understand, it's very easy to be noticed within Battlefield 6 because of this overall feature. But ladies and gentlemen, we got some good news here. Apparently, this feature is being tweaked behind the scenes within Battlefield Labs. I actually saw a post by an individual that goes by the name of Unfairly saying, the only skin 99% of players will see come launch. And it's kind of a joke post because a lot of people in the community are worried that skins are going to be, overtaking the game. It's going to be looking absolutely insane. It's going to be turning into Call of Duty / Fortnite with a bunch of flashy cosmetics and all this wild stuff. And, I don't blame anybody for being worried. It's EA we're talking about here. Although I really enjoy Battlefield 6, these companies, they can do whatever the heck they want. And even if the developers have a really good vision, that vision can be completely destroyed based off of the suits at the top and what they think should be shoved into the overall experience. But under this post by Unfairly, he had a little bit of an image, again, saying the only skin 99% of players will see come launch. And it's just a little bit of a joke showcasing, the usual foggy environment in Battlefield 6 where you can barely see anybody. And then obviously the diamond above the enemy player's head, basically stating you're not going to be seeing any wild skins. You could barely even see the enemies as it is. And the auto spot feature is all you're going to be really noticing. I thought it was pretty funny, and it seems like a lot of people in the Battlefield community got a chuckle out of this one as well. But there was a response down under this post that I really do appreciate this individual for coming out and saying. The individual's name is Coffee, and they said, "Don't worry about that. They already fixed spotting in labs. It's in a really good state right now and balanced." Ladies and gentlemen, this is absolutely phenomenal news, and I'm so happy that DICE went back and they did go ahead and slightly rework how the auto spot system is going to be happening. Now, I don't know what's going on here, ladies and gentlemen. I am not partaking in the labs, and if you guys don't mind sharing, I know you can't share because of the NDA, but if you don't mind sharing, by all means, go down in the comment section and let everybody know how it currently works. But I'm assuming they just went ahead and tampered with the range of the overall spotting system. Because as I stated before, I don't think that, auto spot is bad necessarily. It could be a bit tedious for some people, but I think it's good for the visuals that we have currently within the game. They have two options. They either lighten up all the character models and make the game very flashy and stunning, so you can, easily spot people no matter what, or they have more of a dark, gloomy, war vibe type game that is going to be a little bit harder to, kind of pinpoint your targets, but to give you a little leeway with this auto spot system, allowing you to find people a tad bit easier. Personally, I prefer that, side of the game because I like gritty, realistic looking grounded shooters. Not, mill sims, although I do enjoy mill sims, but, I like arcade games that can take themselves a bit seriously when it comes to the look and vibe and the atmosphere of the overall title. So personally, I do enjoy it much more with how they already, have everything set up. Dark and gloomy, crazy, gritty atmosphere, but given a little assistance with the auto spot feature. But as I literally just stated, tone down the range. That is exactly what the biggest problem, at least for me personally, was. I can literally spot anyone, anywhere, with absolutely zero issues, and nobody could really fight back. They could also go ahead and switch things up in a way, maybe by forcing players to engage with the enemy before actually having them spotted, If the range still isn't enough and people are still able to just, auto mark people with zero effort, maybe make it, instead of just hovering over the player, they have to actually get a bullet to connect on the enemy player. And if that bullet connects, then that person is spotted. And this will be good because then it will allow the enemy to know, hey, this person knows where I'm at. I just got spotted because they engaged with me. Instead of where it was before and you had no clue. You never knew when you were spotted. Someone could be aiming at you right then and there. Their whole squad knows where you're at. You don't know what's going on, right? But if they would change it to this method, it would allow for that counterplay, The person who is attacking gets a little bit of an advantage being able to see them through a 3D spot, but the enemy has a little bit of counterplay because they know they are spotted, and they know the enemy is going to engage. And also when it comes to, again, the attacker, they aren't just going to be sitting there at the back just auto-spotting every person on the enemy team. If they want to spot them, they know they have to shoot. So they got to pick and choose who they want to go ahead and auto spot. But overall, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very happy to hear that changes are happening behind the scenes. And I hope that these changes are going to actually turn out to be something useful and it doesn't just ruin the overall system that they already had in place. Although there's one thing that I will still say, I wish they were a bit more open about this stuff with the overall community. This right here is an extremely important topic to everybody out there that I could possibly think of when it comes down to, again, visibility and the overall spotting system. It's a very hot topic, and I think a lot of people will love to be filled in on the details. Now, again, I can understand why they wouldn't want to make this public and have a massive public opinion about things because, it's much easier to get real results out of a more condensed group of opinions compared to, allowing millions of people to speak up their mind, trying to cipher through everything, the good, the bad, the trolls, all of the above to try to get a good idea on how things should be heading. But they could still let us know, like, hey, we're doing lab testing. We're letting people in the lab go ahead and try out these new features. And these are the features that, again, we are rearranging. Spotting, this, that, the third. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, I feel like if they just let us know these things, that would be awesome. Because they're doing very good with communication. But I feel like the community should always be kept in the loop. No matter what is happening with the overall franchise, no matter what direction they're planning on going, they should, let everybody know. If there's people out there who do know that are in labs, I feel like that's, good enough for the rest of the people out there to know some of this information as well. But that's just my personal take on these things. Of course, go down in the comments section. Let me know what you guys think down below. Do you think that they're going to make some meaningful changes for the official launch when it comes to spotting? Or do you think it's still going to be very obnoxious like how it was for a lot of people when it came to the overall beta experience? But ladies and gentlemen, as always, if you enjoyed today's video, leave a like. If you hate it, leave a dislike. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. I post here daily at 8 in the morning Eastern Time. We also double upload at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Everything between COD, Battlefield, Splitgate 2, Arc Raiders, Gears, pretty much all different FPS or third-person shooter games I love to discuss on this channel. So as always, subscribe and hit that bell. And last but not least, if you guys are interested in any of my live streams, I stream Monday through Saturday over on Twitch starting at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Of course, if you guys are interested, I'll link that channel down in the description of this video. But as always, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.